Midan kebe akele chanu pagloha moni mesa kokata narjina daku wala kote cheche wagla. For some of you that understand our language, which is Lakota, I gave you a brief introduction of who I am and why I'm standing here. I picked up this agenda from Kevin Abras, this youngster, that's part of you guys' gathering today. And I want to thank the ACLU for allowing us to come down here, for giving us the gas help. I represent the Strong Heart Warrior Society from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. And I listen to a lot of things that go on in Indian country. Indian country, okay? Let's keep that in mind, Indian country. There's no such thing as America. That's blasphemous, so be it. A lot of our people in the past and in present circumstances, when gatherings occur, you forget one thing. You forget people. The children, the elders, the women, and the courageous men that stand up to corruption, hatred, genocide, racism. People like myself from past and present, undertakings of life, we're the ones that went to jail so you can gather like this and assemble. But you don't see the momentum of people taking an initiative to it. It's been almost 18 years later that myself, Frank Lemire, Russell Means, and the Nebraskans for Peace's Mark Vecina fought so desperately to rid White Clay of its heinous behavior of alcoholism to the members of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. This is one of the veterans that went to jail for that. And now my brothers are gone. And I'm what remains of them. According to your symbol, we're still here. But the problem this country underlies and understands in a different mechanism of value is that you don't believe in anything anymore. And you know that. And if there's some FBI agents in this crowd, hey, let your people know that you're part of the problem too. You'll never fix anything. And you're so eager to incarcerate people, but you forgot to do it when your people attacked your own Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Think about it. Let's really get talking to some heavy stuff. The problem is when you keep voting for elective measures, you think the Democrats are going to fix it or Republicans? They'll never do nothing for you. And that's the problem what this country is facing with, a denial of human rights. Sad but true. So what do you think Biden's going to do? Is he going to do anything good? No. I don't care about that water pipeline. I've been there. It's a done deal. The tribal chairman of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe sold the right-of-way out. And yet a lot of us got, the crap beat out of us. Went to jail. That's the mindset that you people keep supporting for America. You don't want to blame them. You still pay your taxes, still follow, the same type of parentheses. Look, these people walking away. They don't want to hear the truth. It's the reality that unfolds in this country, day in and day out. What is this town going to do? Is it really going to help the poor people that are on the streets? The real black people, the real African people, is it really going to help the indigenous people that live in this town? I went to school in this state and in this town. I lived right back here, 829 South 13th Street. I had to go by my own apartment just to bring back memory. Used to ride a damn bike through there. Them damn cops would say, hey, you got to have a helmet. You got to have that. Bullshit. I'm going to school, man. Don't bother me. And I'd ride on. That's what this town did. But yet when white folks rode the bike, it was okay. This is how much we understand injustice, racism, hatred, and you all allow it. You all wear masks today because of this pandemic. Your people created that, and then you want to blame someone else. Blame yourselves for a change, America. That's the hard part. You can't own up to your responsibilities of destruction. Ain't nobody gonna save anything until you do it. I've been there, I've done it, and I'm still living it today. There are other scores of issues out there that are facing Indian people. Indian people. You all are comfortable. You gotta go home to your home. Open your refrigerator, get a beverage, nice, something good to eat and drink, and sit there and watch TV. And the TV you're watching is news about your people passing judgment over the rest of humanity. And you know that. Gatherings like this are supposed to be really aimed at what is hurting people. And it's called human rights. And you all vote in every presidential election. And you're also voting for the legalization of drugs and alcohol. And you know that. Y'all like to have your bud and smoke in it, numb your head, so the governments and states can pass legislation to impose it on you. And you think that's good, but as long as you're numb, you ain't gonna say a damn thing about it. That's what America symbolically represents. Gives you everything, so they can control you. America has always been a communist country. It'll never stop and it'll never go away until you change it. We natives are still on the front lines, no matter where we're at. We traveled from South Dakota to be here to help you. And this is my heart's feeling. I don't give a shit about what you do. But if you're not going to blame them, then what's the point of gathering? And wearing that mask? Are you really afraid of this epidemic of corona? COVID-19? This is COVID-19 right there. And you're eating it every damn day. Don't be fooled by the machine and the man. That's what they do. Trump started this shit. And he attacked babies and elders. Don't you see it? America? Americans? I'm not an American. I'm a Lakota. Iktewichasha. A chantet is a okhola kiche akichita of the, chlete, oyate. Real warrior people that stand up to change things. Go to jail for the stuff we believe in. And it's sad. Many years ago, a lot of the turnouts used to be big. Today, we're dwindling. My native people had a lot of people here. I know. We even, used to protest on the college campus when they found bones of our elders that were stored away to do experimental researches on them. And they had an incinerator. You know what they were doing? Burning up our human remains. No respect for the dead, white man. But all of you decide to do something for me once. And whether it rings in your head, if your heart can pick it up, I would appreciate it. Go over to some white congressional officials, burial site, and go check it out. And just make small attempts to try to dig it up once and see what happens. See what happens. Enough of this talking bullshit, man. This is what I do. I'm tired of being underneath the colonial rule. That colonial rule will neutralize you every day, and you support it. You all have state, county, reservation, money identifications, right or wrong. Raise your hands if you all have state and all these documents, man, that belong to the white man. Come on, raise your hand. Don't be scared because I'm saying it. Raise your damn hands because you know you have it in your billfold in your purse. That's capitalistic control because you allow them to monitor you, man. That's inhuman. So don't come out and try to play that you're important to support resistance or a rally. It's not real. Make your own shit up. You can. America's been making it up and you follow it. Look at it. Enough already, man. Nobody's talking like that. If that's blasphemous, so be it. They've been, talking like this to my people since they arrived here and since we gave them a chance to live in a country that don't belong to them. We fed them. We taught them how to live off the land. We taught them how to grow it. Now they turn around and sell it all back to the Indian people. Now my people are suffering and pouring for it because these damn tribal governments, let alone people that work in state legislation that are native. You think they're really important to help my people? Hell no. That's the hard part. And the more you keep continuing to vote for unhealthy circumstance, you continue to serve the purpose of why America uses colonial policies to perfect them over the rest of humanity. Simple. If you take the indigenous people and their southern brothers and sisters from Mexico, I hate that crass term, Mexico. No such thing, man. It's called Mexico. The X is silent. So my brothers and sisters, because my blood's from there. My brothers and sisters, you call them migrant farm workers. And then you call us to hang around the forest, Indian servants. And you know that, white man. So we created an avenue, and this avenue is like them streets that you follow to go this way and that way, any direction. You do that to serve the purpose of implementing colonial rule. Colonial rule means you can put them signs up. No parking at any time. Begin one-way traffic. Think about that, people. You contribute to that. That's where your taxpaying dollars go. But you'll never contest legislation when they're raping the rights of humanity. That's not offensive. These are the realities that America's been using and imposing on you from since they taught you how to speak English. They shouldn't have taught me this language. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling on them. Simple. But that's the problem. It's only going to get worse until you say it. I'm 63 years old now. Getting old. But I'm still in the struggle because I give a damn about my children and my elders. My children and elders. Because I'm an elder. I was a child at one time. But I didn't have the opportunities and privileges like the rest of them do today. I had to grow up helping my mother because the white ranchers killed my dad, ran him over. So in America, I was raised a bastard. Well, America's a fatherless country, right? And a motherless country. But you don't hear you people screaming about it, huh? You don't bastardize man America, do you? You love it, patriotic. Oh, Trump makes America great. Bullshit. The biggest heinous line, you all fell for it. Because if you didn't fall for it, there would be more people out here. People that really believe in human rights. The other day I was talking to a radio show called the Indigenous Voices of People, okay? So I was on this radio show and there was a guy on there named Joe. So Joe calls in and he said, hey, you as a spokesperson for this radio, I want to know how you feel about Joe Biden. And I said, are you a fan? Why can't you produce your last name since America gave you two names? He gave you Joe and maybe you're Joe Biden, disguised as a different voice. Because that's what America does anyway. It's eager to do that. Americans really love to lie. And that's what you're all good at, lying. So this Joe fella couldn't answer the question. What did he do? He hung up. My point that I was trying to get him to explain was what his last name was. And when he made that clicking, I knew he was from maybe one of the local reservations tribal office, or maybe from the state legislating department, because they all have that clicking when they put the phone down. This is what people love to do, is spy. That's why I said, if your feds are here, hey, we're telling you the truth. You should have arrested your own people, but you gave them a chance to go home, try to make publicity, make a big stunt so they could film you. But yet, if we stormed a building like this, and we start getting belligerent and violent, what happens? They beat the shit out of us right there, huh? And they haul us off, don't they? Oh, but the white man, you see that? He gets a fair shake. And you support that. Don't say you don't. I know, I got clubbed by my own people. And they were cops. You'd figure they would stand with the people protesting about the illegal flow of alcohol, drugs coming onto any said reservation. You don't know what it feels like to get hit by a baton and a mace. Cans of it. Real mace. None of this, fake stuff that they kind of put separate ingredients in. Nah, that's nothing. The real stuff burns you. And it'll stay in your body and create cancer. A lot of my people are dying of that. Past and present abuse by law enforcement. And you guys keep voting for the same thing over and over. I figured if I come down to Nebraska, I didn't want to come down. Really, I didn't want to. Because it's the same thing. You want pictures, you want an opportunity to have a photo op, but you'll never blame your own. If you take, how many white folks in the crowd? Raise your hand, come on. Okay, you take a mask, look at that, Indian people. If you can get these white folks, okay, get them to multiply within their own. That one raised his hand, the girl next to him, and all of them, okay? Get them to get 10 white folks together, 10 of them. And you multiply that 10, it'll increase and grow, okay? And let's ask the white people this, folks, because if I ask you guys what you really want and you can't answer it, then you're part of the problem. You're never going to be part of solutions. Simple. Yeah, I'll try it. Indian people, African people, my people are from Africa. I've been over there too, to your country. Been to Zimbabwe, Kenya, and South Africa. As an indigenous man, I know what I want. Okay? But let me ask you guys, what is it that you really want? She wants her land back. Anyone else? Could she? Leave us alone. Okay, that's a good answer. Anyone else?
Decolonization.
What?
Decolonization.
Anyone else?
I would like the earth to feed us again and not the white man to feed us again.
Okay.
Reparations.
These are all good answers, okay? And you already have them, though. You do, you have them. The problem is that you don't want to do nothing with it. This is what Chinupa wants, okay? And all my white folks that raise their hand, this is what I want from you and your people. I want you to leave us alone so we can continue to exercise our freedom, right? Come on, help me out. You don't need to scream, shout. That's what I want. Because if one nation of people have freedom and they are left alone, we can teach you how to free yourselves. Simple. That's the hard part. We've been so colonized, dehumanized, characterized. We're so good at using America wherewithal. White privilege, white racism, white devers, right? And last but not least, we're using white think. Duh. That's sad, ain't it? If Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull, No Ears, Rain in the Face, Gall, Red Cloud, Two Moons, all these great war leaders that stood up and protected our human rights, if they showed up right now on horseback, 3/4 of my indigenous people would fall over and die. Why? Because you don't believe the way they did. And a new breed of people came along, right? Through the 60s and 70s, and they start fading out in the light of the 80s. The American Indian Movement, the Black Panther Party, the Brown Berets, and even them damn Ku Klux Klans. You think about it. White supremacy began like that, so we had to turn around and do our thing. Now, just like the Ku Klux Klan, we strong-heart dog soldiers have been here since time immemorial. Traditional warrior societies. What are the reasons why, man, we defeated Custer, Reno, Grant, all of them. So these children can have a better way of living in a future that is theirs. And this is what they've done to us. They reduced us to a level that they wanted us to be beggars to. And you're all doing it. Now, the white folks that raised their hand, do this for me. Congregate yourself. I'll leave you my business card. If you guys are really serious, I'll come talk to you white folks. And I'll really give you a brief history. A brief history, not a long history. Because if my people can't do it for you, then I'll do it. That's the problem. And these measures are going to constantly fail, no matter what you do by putting a Democratic president in there or a Republican president. When was the last time an independent president ever got in? Does anybody record that? Huh? The very first independent president that ever went to office is when he created the Continental Dollar. Not the corporate dollar, the legalized, attended note that this government took over and started doing by stealing material. The Continental Dollar was more value, and it meant something. But here's the catch. When all these corporate organizations start implementing their power of control, who did they start it with? Come on, you all know American history. Come on. You went to school. You got some kind of paper from them. I mean, that's what they recognize you because you accomplished what they taught you. Come on. Gets quiet, innit? Gets quiet, innit? See?
Repeat the question.
The question is, who was the first group of people that worked for the first corporation in this country that took the power away from the Continental president that was independent? A little bit, I'll give her just a little bit. How many black folk do we have here? Raise your hand. Okay, just two.
No,
3.
4,
Okay?
5.
That was the original workforce. That was the foundation of how corporate America began. To use them people. Think about it. They picked cotton and they hurting their fingers because there was thorns on that cotton. That's what you white people, your ancestors did to them. And you decolonized them quick. You know why? They had a language. They had a way of life. They had a name. How many Johns in the crowd? Raise your hand. How about Billy, Mike, Larry, Steve? Okay, there's Steve. Huh? How about Paul? Gilbert? Henry? Okay. Now imagine you were an indigenous person like Chanupa Gluha Money, okay? You couldn't put Chanupa in there and have him sit behind a desk representing Indian policy. Oh, but Mike and John and Larry and Gilbert and Wayne and all them can, because they look like me. This is how America bastardized humanity. Good example. This little young African girl here, okay, part with my blood, okay? This one right here, take a look. This is what you white people did to her, reduce her to this level. But when they were free, like us, struggling to remain free, they had a language that only they could interpret within themselves. And you took it from them. You did, white man. The same way you did to me and mine. And you're continuing to do the same thing. So you think Biden and Trump are really going to try to pass, native language and history to get in schools? Curriculums will never do that until you give it back to hers. Make sense? Hell yeah! Simple. But that's what you do not only to humanity, you do it to the four-legged. Come on! Kevin Aber's going to fix it? Harry Mitchell going to fix it? I'm not saying him to insult them. This is my point. Put your hands for this little girl together. Come on, give her a nice round of applause for stepping up here. That's what I'm talking about here. It's simple. So now to my white folks that attended. And folks, please forgive me if I offended you. I take full responsibility of my words and actions. And again, if you feds are sitting here and you cops that are disguised as humans, that want to sit in the crowd and stand with the crowd, hold signs, you cops, feds, tell your people to learn how to leave, man, people alone. Then you can start understanding what the liberty of freedom is. Because as long as you're wearing that badge and gun, you're only protecting your rich people that pay your salary. Simple. And for my Indian people, I apologize if I took up your time, if I bastardized my words against you, but this language wasn't given to me in a value of life. It was forced upon me through boarding school, getting beat. And the sad thing, white man, you're to blame. Now I can give it back to you in your own words. If that's blasphemous and it hurts your feelings, so be it. Imagine what you did to mine. Mine can't pick up the way of life anymore because of you. In the ending speech, a grandpa and a grandma stood next to me one day. Matter of fact, my brother's in the crowd. And they came up and they said, hey, Chlete Henicha hai. A Chlete in Lakota means a warrior, not a Akichita. Akichita is a guy that puts his hand on his forehead. Where did that come from? When you go like that and salute that damn flag right there. Well, that came from over in the countries like England when these knights got on the horses and they put that spear on each side and they charged each other. They push that little light up back, go back down. That's where that came from. They salute that shit. And then they hit with those spears, kill each other. That's over there, barbaric people. So they brought that over here. Now you're all barbaric. My point is, when this grandma and grandpa asked me if I was a Chlete, and like all you men, got pants on, it's cold. Well, at least you think it is. It's only heartfelt. If your mind can allow the heart control it, ain't nothing cold. And that's what we don't do. Your body is a healthy mechanism that can fix itself, heal itself. But we don't believe in that. So we're all going to commercial dietary, pharmaceutical pills and all this. You all know that because you all pick it up. Don't lie to me and tell me you don't. You're probably going to head to the pharmacy after we're done. If that don't work, you'll head to the liquor store. Or maybe the pusher's house, huh? Hey, man, what's up, man? You got anything? Got a packet? Oh, yeah, come on, step in. I know what to do. Happens on my reservation every day when alcohol and drugs is outlawed. But yet, law enforcement can't enforce it. The same way law enforcement can't enforce it in America. That's communism. And they impose it on you and you like it. But when this grandma and grandpa asked me if I was really a warrior, I said, yes, I am. Okay, take your pants off. Without any hesitation, I took it off. And I was in my boxers. There, now you go around like that if you're a warrior. Almost 40 years later, here it is. Even when I went to the White House in Washington, D.C., me and Russell Means went over there together. That's when Bush is in power. And they all looked at me when I walked in like this, all them white folks. And I loved it to see, man, that smirk look you white people have when indigenous or somebody comes in dressed the way we... I don't have a dress code like you Americans. And don't get offended. Because if that's a threat and you get offended, okay, I was right. That's the hard part of accepting this value that don't belong to you. When you constantly give in to Americans' behavior, the American Renaissance, you kill yourself connecting back to who you are. So almost 40 years later, I'm still in trunks. All year round. Even when we have a memorial next month for the occupation of Wounded Knee in 1973 when we took up arms against the federal government. And again, folks, we're the ones that made sacrifices for all of you to do shit like this. We went to jail for that. I went to jail for that. I was 13 years old. We create legacies and histories for you. Ways of achieving, man, something that you can learn from. But the hard part is you only go so far and you turn around. You're like that dog on a leash. You drop your puppy toe up here, and when your master calls you back, you go back. You'll never want to let it go free. Well, in the humanities point of view, you ask my older brother and my little brother Lalin, my dogs travel with me. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring them. It's cold back home. My pit bull, he's got webbed feet, so snow gets in between, freeze up in there, picks his feet up, it's cold. So I love my animals. Okay, I have to find somebody to take care of them while I come down here. Like I said, I didn't want to come down here. Didn't want to. Because it's going to be the same thing. Photo op, talk nonsense. And that's what happens. But until you're ready to paint the steps red and black, okay, I'm in. Until you take this figurine down, I'm in. Other states were doing that. That might be bronze, it might be rock. We got 4 of them in our Great Black Hills. My Great Black Hills. We got 4 heads up there. The shrine of democracy. That's inhuman. But if everybody can have that consciousness of changing the way America is, okay, you're going to have to kill America, not me. I'm already making the approaches to help you guys get there, but you're afraid to do it. And when they come after you with badges and guns and ready to beat your ass, your tax-paying dollars support that. Don't forget that. They support you getting the crap knocked out of you and locked up. I was saying this on the radio show, and I'm going to shut up and I'm going to give you guys a song when I close. When this kid Joe called our radio show and he wanted to make this comment about, hey, how I felt about Joe Biden, the newly elected president, my answer to him before he hung up, and I said it on live radio, I said, if any president in this country was really serious and understood what this country's, symbolic meaning was about liberty and freedom, open up all them jails and set everybody free and shut it down. That's what a leader's supposed to do. The same way this leader came down here to help you get the real message out. I'm not here to be bastardizing language. No, I don't want to do that because I've heard it. I've seen it. It gets us nowhere. It gets us in trouble. It gets us to go to jail. And once you go in there, you get soft. And when you come back out, what do? You stand across the street. You're sitting some bench over there, look and wonder what they're doing again. Oh, then you're going to criticize. That's what happens. And you do that. Both male and female. Simple. Well, I'm here for those grandmas and those kids that were here. I ain't here for nothing else. And thanks again to the ACLU for getting us down here. They helped us get down here. Thanks to my little brother, Lalin. I have some bumper stickers in my car. You see my van right there? You see it? The maroon one, red one right there in between the 2 gray guys? That red van's got these bumper stickers that say, be a Lakota hero. Don't use alcohol or drugs. That's running around in DC and New York City, all different states, because I convince people to see that the more you keep wanting drugs and alcohol, you keep